Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
And that breaking news in Macomb County, where several boats catch fire at a St. Clair Shores marina.
As you could see from that scene, smoke from the massive fire could be seen for miles. Tim Pamplin was there with the night cam. Tim.
Emergency crews working through the evening here near Mike's on the Water. This is St. Clair Shores, 10 Mile Jefferson at Ken's Marine. It was around 8:30, 9 o'clock when the calls came out. Boats are exploding at the gas stop. Firefighters quick on the scene, and when they pulled up, this is what they saw. Several boats engulfed in flames.
Oh man.
Mariners could not believe their eyes.
Holy shit.
I'm getting word that 2 men on the first boat to explode jumped off, swam. There was a frantic search looking for those 2 that involved the United States Coast Guard on the water and up in the air. I'm hearing those 2 men have since been located uninjured and are talking to police. The Anderson family with daughter Madison were enjoying dinner at Mike's when the boat started exploding.
As soon as I sat down, just third explosion, boom. It's pretty loud.
So again, the latest information is no injuries. Amazingly, the 2 men that were on the initial boat that exploded jumped off. They've been recovered. The investigation gets underway as to what caused these boats to explode. That's the scene in St. Clair Shores tonight with the night cam. Tim Pamplin, Local 4.
Some kind of video. All right, Tim. A mother and her boyfriend are behind bars tonight, soon to be facing charges in the death of her 13-month-old son and the injuries to his twin brother.
An ambulance was called early this morning to the family's home in Ecorse. One boy died at the hospital and the other is still battling terrible injuries. Jason Colthorpe is live in Ecorse tonight. Jason, police spent all day tracking down the boyfriend. Where was he arrested?
He was arrested in Sumter Township, Kim. It came after a long search. It was around dinner time. He was at an uncle's house after they'd followed up several leads. He took off first thing in the morning from the hospital. Tonight, he and his girlfriend, the boy's mother, are here in jail in Ecorse. Her son, at last check, undergoing a late-night surgery to repair a broken left femur and other broken bones.
I've been a policeman for 32 years. I've never seen a police like this before.
The worst Inspector Timothy Sasek has seen, because when police responded to the Renaissance Estates in Ecorse around 5 a.m., they found a baby on the hood of a car with unspeakable injuries.
Injuries that are compounded by a little bit of healing and then aggressive again. I could go into some detail about what the doctor said, but actually it'll make you sick.
Not long after 13-month-old Zaire Reed was at the hospital, police realized his twin brother Zion, back at the home, was also badly injured, and his mother hadn't said a word.
One of our evidence techs that was called to the scene where they were preserving it asked to speak to me and says the twin brother is now at the hospital as well.
Police believe those injuries were caused by the live-in boyfriend of the boy's mother, a parolee they say was let out of prison because of coronavirus concerns.
Beautiful babies.
The twins' grandmother, who suspected abuse, can't talk about the boys without getting emotional.
He supposedly said that he gave the baby Zaire a bottle, and he left the room and went back in. He was choking. That's when they called the ambulance. But he wasn't choking on that bottle. I don't care what he says. That baby he did something to that baby.
A closer look at these photos posted to Facebook a couple of weeks ago show the boys with obvious trauma to their faces.
And I said to my husband, one of those babies are going to end up dead.
This concerned friend of the family noticed and contacted Child Protective Services 12 days ago, but says she never got a response.
A baby can't speak for itself. And for a mom to be I'm sorry, but for a mother to be in a house and allow that, no. She had to know what was going on. She had to.
So many questions. We're looking for those 2 to be arraigned sometime tomorrow afternoon. The charge is first-degree child abuse, first-degree murder. More on the boyfriend now. You heard us talk about how police say he was released early because of coronavirus concerns. They also say he committed a violation that normally would have sent him back to prison, but again was kept out because of corona. And if you're wondering what he was paroled for, child abuse. We're in Ecorse tonight. Jason Colthorpe, Local 4.
Just awful, Jason. And I understand that this isn't the first time the mother's parenting has been called into question either.
No, it's not. There should have been so many warnings, red flags. She has 4 children. The grandmother who you saw in that story has legal guardianship of her two oldest. One's 10, one's 15. The 15-year-old now lives in Kansas with a father, but she cares for the 10-year-old. So she's already lost two children, and now another one because of child abuse, and another one fighting for his life. Kim.
Just awful. Okay, Jason, thanks.
On the day he announced his economic plan for racial equality, former Vice President Joe Biden sat down with our Mara McDonald to talk about everything from whether there should be a national mask mandate to Governor Whitmer's vice presidential prospects. Mara's live in Troy. Mara, no opportunity for campaign rallies right now, so the former vice president, I guess, talked to you from his home.
He did, Devin, and he confirmed for us that he is going to be announcing his VP pick next week. So naturally, we had a few questions.
National outlets have not mentioned Governor Whitmer as a possible VP pick for weeks, instead focusing on Susan Rice, Kamala Harris, Karen Bass, and Val Demings.
Our governor doesn't seem to be on your short list. Is that accurate?
No, I have not narrowed that list. Look, your governor she's really capable. She's capable of doing virtually anything. In terms of the process I'm going to go through, I'm not going to get too much into detail, but I'm fortunate to have a group of highly qualified candidates that I'm talking to.
Just this afternoon, Governor Whitmer, in her COVID-19 briefing, asked for the federal government to issue a national mask mandate. I asked his thoughts.
I know it helps if it occurred. I think it matters a great deal. There's overwhelming proof it is of significant value in reducing the transmission of the virus.
We spoke about the civil unrest around the country and why Detroit hasn't seen burning and looting like other communities have, as well as those ongoing problems in Portland.
Well, first of all, you got a hell of a good mayor and you got a great chief of police, number one. Number two, local police are able to take care of the problems they have in their states. What in fact has happened is the president has exacerbated the problem by sending in unmarked and unnamed and without badges federal agents and from Homeland Security.
Back here live, I think it's important to point out that Detroit is going to be the recipient of some of those same federal resources, not because we have any protesting problems, but because we've had a spike in gun crime, we've had a spike in gun-related arrests, and those federal resources that are coming here are not just, Homeland Security agents, but federal dollars that are going to things like backfilling the Detroit Police Department's overtime budget. We're live in Troy tonight. I'm Mara McDonald. Local 4.
DNC, Mara, was supposed to be a couple weeks ago, so under normal circumstances, we already know who the vice presidential candidate is, but he's saying next week sometime.
He's saying next week sometime, and Devin, originally the campaign had said, we are going to tell you August 1st. They're saying it's not going to be August 1st, but definitely by the end of next week.
All right, Mara. Let's move to coronavirus tonight. The state reporting 669 new cases of COVID-19 over the past 24 hours. That is an increase of 181 from yesterday's numbers.
Michigan's COVID death toll also growing by 16 people, but the state says 11 of those deaths were added retroactively. Governor Gretchen Whitmer held a briefing today for the first time in nearly 2 weeks, pleading for all Michiganders to stay the course and mask up.
Because while we've continued to keep the number of deaths in Michigan low over the past several weeks, our case numbers have continued to increase since June. So we've got to all double down and do our part right now. Please wear your mask, maintain physical distancing, and get tested.
When it comes to reopening schools, the governor says planning is underway for several options, but a final decision won't come until just before the school year begins.
A man wanted for shoplifting in Chesterfield Township leads police on a wrong-way chase on I-94. Happened last night around 6:30. Started at the Target store on 23 Mile and Gratiot when officers spotted the shoplifting suspect with a car that had already been reported shoplifted, if you will, stolen. The driver wouldn't stop and eventually headed for I-94. Chase ended when the driver ended up going the wrong way on eastbound I-94 and hit a truck. The driver then took off on foot, made it quite a ways, wasn't arrested until officers found him in an apartment complex in Harrison Township. That was several miles from the crash. Suspect in the case, a 37-year-old man from Mount Clemens, facing a long list of charges. On the bright side, no one was seriously hurt in that head-on crash.
A 15-year-old boy is now facing murder charges for the deadly shooting of his 10-year-old cousin. The teen was charged today as an adult with second-degree murder. Investigators say he shot 10-year-old Orrin Ball in the chest last week inside a Warren apartment. There were 10 children inside that apartment at the time of the shooting, but no adults. The 15-year-old is being held on a $500,000 bond. On Detroit's east side, a man is wanted for assaulting a gas station clerk in a dispute over a face mask. It happened back on July 15th at the Mobil gas station on East Jefferson. Green light cameras show the man pushing in the security window, which then hits the clerk. Police say the dispute started when the man walked into the gas station without wearing a mask and became irate when he was told he needed to wear one. The suspect was last seen walking south on East Jefferson. Still ahead, they are large flying insects that haven't been seen in our country for 17 years.
The return of the zombie cicadas and why they have researchers concerned this time around. Hey, Ben.
Those are not on the radar tonight, guys, but we are tracking rain. That's coming in from the west, and it's welcome in a lot of spots. We'll show you how much to expect.
All right, Ben, but first, a viral video showed a Michigan police officer firing a canister nearly point blank at a man during the Grand Rapids protest. The discipline that officer now faces, we've got coming up next.